people who have chosen to stay home for college, those who chose to do 2-year programs, get certified, trade school, military, workforce, not the typical, I go off to a 4-year college out of state, kind of deal. We want to show the students all the different opportunities you can have after high school. And we thought you guys would be a great group of panelists to kind of help open their eyes to some of those things. So when we start, I will introduce everybody by saying your name, and then you can let us know what you did right after high school very briefly and what you're doing now. Okay? Does that work? Thumbs up? All right, Bianca, I'm ready when you are.
Repeat that.
Who was that?
We're ready.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to start? Sorry.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be a real interesting group. There's too many 2016s and 2017s in here, so we'll see how this works. Okay.
Well, I'm Bianca, Miss Bianca, and I started off at St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then I took some time off, and I later picked up a trade, which was working for CTA. Making about $35 an hour to look out a window. Best job ever. And actually now I am back in school, about to earn my bachelor's degree from Southern New Hampshire University, thanks to last year's seniors, because I felt I couldn't talk to them about school or anything else and not have finished myself. So thank you, CGF.
All right, thank you, Bianca. We have Isaiah Freeman. Isaiah, you can come off mute and tell us about yourself.
All right, I guess kind of following the pattern. I started out, I went to a liberal arts college. Well, first, my name's Isaiah Freeman, class of 2016. I was here first, so all of you who are here. But basically, I started off at a really expensive liberal arts college out in Wisconsin, and it didn't work out, and because of financial reasons. And basically, I was able to find a program that allowed me to start a full-time job and help pay my way through college and kind of, I guess, move forward. So I guess that's where I bring the difference in a normal, I guess, track.
And what are you doing right now?
Well, I work at Bank of America as a portfolio management associate. So I basically, I help with all the philanthropic and retirement, I guess, investments that different companies have.
Okay. Thank you, Isaiah. Isaiah Blakey.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably like one of the youngest in this group, but yeah, I just got in my first year of school. I'm at a Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. I started at Kenwood, like most of you all know. Yeah, I'm in school as a baking and pastry arts major. It's an associate 2-year degree, so all goes well. I should be graduating in 2021. I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Martiana.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm Marty. When I first graduated high school, I went to St. Aug too in North Carolina, and then I had to leave there. Where am I? Oh yeah, I went to North Carolina. I went to Raleigh. I went there for like not even a whole semester, and then I had to leave, because things happen. So I had to leave and go back home. So when I came back home, I moved to Las Vegas, and then I went to College of Southern Nevada, but I didn't really like the school. It wasn't really for me. And now I go to school online at, it's called Ultimate Medical Academy. I'm going there to get my associate's degree in social work, and I'll be graduating next year.
Okay, and what are you doing right now for work?
I work at a memory care facility with like people with like Alzheimer's and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, thank you. Miss Amanda.
Hey y'all, what's up? So my name is Amanda Phillips. I went to school in Chicago, St. Xavier University. My major was math education, K through 8. I got my master's in media communications, and I'm currently in that master's program is at Governor State. And I'm in a second master's program right now for educational admin K through 12.
Okay, thank you. Destiny.
Hey, so I'm Destiny Simon. I am a CGF graduate of 2019, but I technically graduated high school, Jeremiah, in 2018, like December, because I did something where we graduate early at Kenwood. So from the rest of everyone else's school year, I worked at this other for a while, and then I eventually did go away this fall 2019 semester to a 4-year university. So University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which is where I still currently am, just with the pandemic right now. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Carl Kemp. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Y'all know me. How y'all doing? I mean, how many times I got to tell that story?
Well, they haven't heard it.
Who is they? All of them have heard it.
Okay.
High school, Kenwood, graduated, went to FAM for a year, got in some trouble, got in a lot of trouble, had to come back home, tried to get back on track, went back down to FAM, got in even more trouble, and got sent home. Did nothing for a couple of years, just trying to figure some stuff out. Finally got myself together, got an internship with Chicago Public Schools, finished up, got my bachelor's, got my master's, and currently now the executive director of sports administration for CPS.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Antoine Carter.
Hello. I'm Antoine Carter. I graduated class of 2016. Out of high school, I went to Harold Washington, and I got my associates, but it took me 3 years because I messed up at the beginning thinking it was sweet, but it wasn't. But yeah, I got my associates from Harold Washington, liberal arts, and then I'm in a construction management program right now, and I also work at the University of Chicago.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Will?
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Will. I am Leslie's husband. Out of high school, I went to the Naval Academy, which is a 4-year college that you have to wear a uniform and be in the military during it. When you graduate, you go into the fleet. So after I graduated, I was a naval officer and served on a ship for most of my time over a 6-year period. Got out a few years back, married Leslie, and we're in Chicago, as you know, and working for a tech startup here.
Okay, thank you. Stanley.
So I'm Stanley for those who don't know. What's going on, everyone? So right after high school, I went down to Southern Carbondale, and didn't last too long, probably 1 semester. Was back home. Then I went to East West for maybe 2 years there and stopped going for some reason. Started working and wind up going back to East West around 2010, got my bachelor's in computer science. Then I got my MBA at Keller, concentration in project management, and I'm currently a project manager for U.S. Foods.
Okay, thank you, Stanley. Amy?
Well, most of you, if not all of you on this know who I am, but you might not know my backstory. I'm usually pretty quiet and stay in the background, but when I was 16, I found out I was pregnant, so I went to work right away. After high school, I definitely attempted college many times. I think college was always that thing that I wanted to accomplish. But never really found it applicable to me. but I have done many things regardless. Without college, I have accomplished many things. And so, you know, I'm here to really kind of just give that perspective and that different direction, you know? So, yeah, looking forward to sharing with you guys.
Thank you. Sam.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Sam Gaucher. I went to college right after high school, like legit graduated high school. 2 weeks later, I was in college. It wasn't my first pick. I was supposed to go to Michigan on a scholarship, but I didn't sign my letter of intent for basketball in time. So Robert Morris also recruited me, so I decided to stay here. It was a tri-semester school, so everything went real fast. I finished up with my associates in graphic communication. I should have stayed, but I took off and pursued my basketball career, playing a little IBL, a little ABA. I landed with the Dallas Mavericks on their practice squad for a couple years, did a couple years overseas. And now I'm one of the network managers for Chicago Public Schools. I run the Far South Side. I manage over 217 schools. So that's my story.
All right, thank you. Jacquez.
Hi, I'm Jacquez Martin, if y'all don't know me like that. But yeah, I never went to college. Like, it wasn't, I know what I was gonna go there for. I was gonna go there to party and not schoolwork, so I never did it. So I decided to go to the military, decided to join the Army. Been in for 3.5 years now. I just hit my sergeant rank, so now I'm a sergeant. Yeah, now I just live life to the fullest without stress.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jacquez. Whitney? Okay,
hey, everybody, I'm Whitney. So after high school, I did nothing. I worked. College really wasn't a priority. I had like a little boyfriend. I thought like, oh, this is it. Like, there's no college. We're going to work. We're going to do this thing. But years later, we did not do that thing. But anyway, so I moved to Chicago on a dance scholarship for Robert Morris a year later. And then that scholarship fell through. So I decided to stay in Chicago and get a couple jobs and kind of hustle it out. And then 3 years ago, I decided to go back to school, where I just finished my bachelor's in business administration and management. And currently I am unemployed. Yay. But it's great. I'm super excited. It's lots of opportunity and room for creativity. So I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. Miss Candace.
Hi, everybody. My name is Candace Usher. Went to John Hope College Prep for high school. Immediately after that, I went to UIUC in Champaign-Urbana. Decided to go there for two reasons. One, they gave me the most money, and my parents couldn't pay for college, so I just had to do what I had to do. And then the other reason was I knew that I was a family-oriented person, so I wanted to go far enough where they couldn't bother me every day, but stay close enough where I could visit when I wanted to. And it wasn't, I didn't have to get on a plane or anything like that. I could just maybe hop on a bus or drive back home. So yeah, I did that for 4 years. I actually graduated a semester late because I had took off a semester to work to get my car. Fortunately enough, going to UIUC allowed me to come back to Chicago every weekend to work. I worked at the Renaissance Chicago while I was in college every weekend. And so I was able to, that semester off, work there, make enough to get my car. And then I went right back, graduated a semester late. Working at Renaissance Chicago gave me some interest in the hospitality industry. So I decided to stay there and pursue that for a couple years, but it was too political, and I found it super difficult to move up like I wanted to. And so I decided to go back to school to do an accelerated teaching program with AUSL, got my master's in 1 year, and now I'm a teacher.
All right, thank you. Jerea.
Y'all can see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Jerea Henry. After high school, I went to college for a semester, then I stopped going because I couldn't go back. And then I was out of school for 5 months. Then a beauty school called me and they wanted me to go to their school so I can get my license. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm doing hair because like I feel like that's the way I can express myself. And I like to see a before and after of how my clients walk in and out. So yeah.
So you're getting your cosmetology license?
Yeah, I'm getting my license. I have like 440 hours left.
Okay. Miss Sherelle, you have a similar story, right?
Hi, I'm Sherelle, class of 17. I left college my first semester for like racial tension. Then I went to hair school and couldn't really afford it. So I finished the EMT program and I'm studying for my national. So I'll be a licensed EMT and then potentially going back to hair school. But I'm really more focused on having a beauty line versus actually doing hair.
Okay. All right, and Curdy.
Hey, I'm Curdy. I graduated in 2019 from George Westinghouse. I go to Malcolm X Community College. I'm going to do 2 years here. Then I'm going to transfer to Illinois State University. I chose to do 2 years here first, just cost-wise. So right now I'm doing, I did my first semester. So right now I'm doing an 8-week CNA program. And with the pandemic going on, now it's online. But we're still doing it. I'll be done May 9th. And then I have my CNA license and CPR license things. I kind of want to go into the nursing field. I want to be a pediatric doctor or nurse. So right now, that's what I'm doing. And I also work at the White Sox Stadium, but with the pandemic going on, it's closed down right now. So right now, I just have 2 temporary jobs just to stall time. Subway, and then I just started Family Dollar last week.
Okay. All right, thank you everybody for sharing your stories. We have some student questions that I want to go through really quickly. So for those of you who have taken a gap year prior to going to school, how was that experience for you? And if you, looking back on it, could do it differently, would you? And you guys can just jump in wherever you feel like it.
So I guess I took a gap year. I wouldn't recommend it simply because I just feel like momentum. You need momentum. When you don't use it, you really lose it. So I would definitely recommend, if you are considering college, to go to college after high school. Even fast forward to now, the job that I had before I got laid off, I was really trying to move up in the company, but because I did not have a bachelor's degree, it was a really big hurdle for me. So I would suggest probably looking into the career field that you're interested in and then deciding if college is necessary. And if it is, I would say go after high school.
Okay. Anyone else?
Can you repeat that question?
So a student asked, for those who took a gap year, what was it like? And if you, looking back on it, would you do it again?
I didn't necessarily take a gap year right after high school, but I took a semester off. I think making decisions like that is very important that you know yourself. Because I had everybody telling me, don't do it. You're not going to come back and blah, 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 blah. But I know once I make my mind up, I know how determined I am to do something. And so I wasn't worried that I would be coming back after my semester was over. Once I accomplish whatever it is I'm set out to do, that's just what's going to happen for me. So I think making big decisions like that, you really, really have to know self. Is it Jaquez that went to the Army? As he said, he knew that, you know, what he would be going to college for. So his decision was based on him knowing himself and knowing that. So again, that's important. And we try to instill that in all of our seniors and juniors as we talk to them, you know, when we do our workshops, that it's important to know yourself. We know what you want to do, but again, goals have to be measurable and they have to be attainable. You can't do something if you know you're not equipped within yourself to do that. So you have to know yourself when you're making decisions.
Okay.
And I would do it again because I needed my car. I had a little car and I had to get a truck because I would move back. I had to move my stuff out every year. I had to move all my stuff back to Chicago. I had a Chevy Cavalier, y'all. That truck is like this. I mean, that car was this tiny. So I had to get a truck. I had to. It was no question about that.
Okay.
Well, it was important for me because I think I was the second male in my family on both sides to ever even graduate from college. So it was a mindset that I know I had to break the generational curse chain. Just being in my surrounding, in my neighborhood, I know if I'd have took a semester off or took a gap, I probably wouldn't have been as successful as I am now, or probably in a worse situation. So just knowing my surroundings and how my family was, I had to go immediately. So I was glad I went to college as soon as I did.
Okay. All right. So we did just have a question come through about for those who are in the military. So this would be to Will and Jaquez. So Ari would like to know, how has your experience been having been in the service? Is the military bad?
Me personally think the military is not for everyone. Like, I say my experience been good and bad, because like when I first started, I was a whole soldier. Like I was like, oh yeah, this the go-to. But then as the years went on, I kind of like started falling off as a soldier. But then I kind of went through an accident, losing a friend in the Army. So basically, I had to build myself back up, and so now I'm back to where I started. But basically, it's not for everyone. Like it's hard to do. It's hard to dealing with the people over you, telling you what to do. Like, I had to get used to it. I had to get used to, like, okay, I know he over me. You don't got to respect him, but, you know, you got to respect the rank. But as you build yourself up, as you get higher, you deal with less with less of the problem. And you start to get, like, used to what's going on. And to be honest, I was finna get out the Army, but now I got a kid on the way. So I gotta do what I gotta do.
Okay, congratulations, Jaquez.
Thank
you. Congrats, Jaquez.
Thank you.
I want to echo your sentiment there that it's not for everyone. It can be very difficult, and the whole idea is they want to break you down before they build you up. So you're going to go through a boot camp type experience where you're going to get yelled at for 8 to 12 weeks straight, and you're going to feel lower than dirt. But it's all part of the mindset of learning how to follow, learning how to take orders, because if you go out and you're in the military, one day you're probably going to get shot at. That's just a fact of life for being in the military. And you need to know that when it happens, everyone's on the same page. And if there's an order given, everyone needs to follow it. And there's a reason for that. So there's a lot of tough times, especially in the beginning. But as Jaquez said, as you get more senior, as you get more rank, it becomes a little bit easier. What I loved about it is that it taught me discipline and leadership from a young age. I came out of high school and did the 4-year college thing, but there was a military feel to it. And it taught me every single day how to lead and how to follow. And then when I graduated, I came out on the officer side, and I had to learn how to lead 18 to 40-year-old sailors and soldiers who oftentimes knew a lot more than I did. And I had to learn how to be humble. I had to learn how to gain their respect, how to get them to want to work for me. Jacques said, you know, there's people senior to you that you got to respect the rank, but not the person. My goal was always have them respect me as a person, and the rank didn't matter, and we could get things done. That takes a lot, and it's difficult, especially at 22 or 18 years old. And it's just this incredible training ground to do it, because you have to, otherwise you're putting yourself and people around you's life in danger. So is it difficult? Yes. Is it bad? I wouldn't say so. It's the best decision of my life, because I learned how to lead, I learned how to follow, and I learned how to be disciplined.
Okay, so for both of you guys, would you, if you had a chance to go back in time and do it all over again, would you still take the same paths you took?
100%.
Okay.
I go Air Force.
I'm assuming Air Force is the easier of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the cushy life.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Isaiah Blakey, you did culinary school. So how did that even come about? Where did that inspiration, was it always something you wanted to do, or was it something that kind of presented to you at your school?
It was funny. I was actually going to say something, because I've kind of been going through the same thing that Jacques and Will were just talking about, just with the whole like discipline thing. But I guess I'll start it over. Like really, it was the only school that accepted me. Like 100% honest. I put in one application. I was at work, because like Destiny, I graduated early. So I had a whole 4 or 5 months to just, work and think about if I really wanted to go to school. Because you know me, like I've been anti-school from the start, but culinary school was definitely, for me, like that was the only way I would see myself staying motivated and staying happy about school, because me and classwork just didn't, we don't get along like that. And I did good enough to graduate early, but if you ask my teachers, they'd tell you like, yeah, like it takes something for me to really get focused. So I chose baking and pastry as my focus, because I'm a very patient person, and I don't really know too many people that don't like sweets. So it was kind of like a win-win. And I really just want to tie it into what I'm doing with my musical endeavors as well. I chose Hyde Park, New York, just because it wasn't Chicago, 1, and 2. It was New York, so I felt like I'd be in good hands, but not too far from my family. So I've been enjoying it, and like I was saying about the whole discipline thing, the way they run the school is very military-based, because it's an old military school, essentially. Like they used to teach vets and soldiers, or just people in that field in general, they would teach them how to cook back in the day, back when they first got founded. So they kept the same principles and like carried it over. So our whole lifestyle has become this whole yes chef kind of thing, where it's like, it doesn't matter if you think, this would be better. If the chef says do this, do that, don't strain away from it. Like you would think with something like cooking, you have leeway, but it's not really, it's not what you would think. Like once you get in there and they're telling you like, no, don't do that. And when they're screaming at you for not washing your dishes, or when you get kicked out for like carrying your knife the wrong way, or just little things that you would normally think like, oh, that's everyday things. Like if I was in the kitchen, I wouldn't think about it. Like stuff like that really helped me to like grasp and catch on to the fact that I was becoming a lot more disciplined. And Tiffany knows, Carl knows, y'all know when I was first in the common ground, like discipline was probably my hardest. Yeah, so I'm definitely thankful for what the school did for me. Even though I'm like, it's not like I'm finished, but after 1 year, it's kind of like I went through a lot, and it was a lot of, do I want to go back? Do I want to stay? So I'm here now, and we start online class, so I'm doing good for now.
Okay. All right, thank you, Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who did do a semester or a couple of years of college and then transition to other forms of learning, How has that been for you, from being in class to having to go online? And then also the same question, if you could do it over again, would you have stayed in school, like a physical school, or would you have went straight to online classes?
So I was at school for a semester, and basically, like, it was some stuff going on. The KKK was recruiting students on my campus, so it got deep for me real quick, so I left. And I think that if I could do it over again, I probably would have transferred to a different school, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But my whole idea was like, I don't want to be paying debt for something I don't know I want to do. And then I hopped around and did a lot of stuff. So now I don't feel like I wasted my time, but I've learned myself to a point to say, this is not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I did, who's going? Go ahead, Cuddy. I did 3.5 years at St. Augustine's College, left 12 hours to my degree because I was actually in school for a major that I did not want to major in. And just started making bad choices. I was tired of doing everything that my family wanted me to do. You guys know my aunt could be pretty tough. So got in some trouble, a lot of trouble, probably more than Carl trouble. Had to go on vacation for a little while. And it wasn't until after that I went into my trade. And while in my trade, I realized that going back to school was something I've always wanted to do, but working for CTA actually gave me the discipline to do what I wanted to do. Going through the program I had to go through just to get my position just gave me the discipline. And if I could do it all over again, I would definitely change some things and decisions that I made, but I would definitely do school again. And as far as going from being in a classroom to online, I love doing my work online. I kind of can do it whenever I want to. A lot of times I wait until the 5th hour, but for me, I've learned that that's just a little bit better for me versus just being in the classroom saying, read this and do this, because authority really isn't for me. So it's better when I'm on my own schedule. So, and this is actually preparing you guys for college a little bit. And if you do decide to do online classes, so.
Okay, me, I don't really like the online because I don't feel like it's convenient for me. I hate online. Like, it's I get sleepy easily, so I have to sit at the table do my homework. But okay, with my CNA class, it's hands-on. Like, we have to do this will be my 3rd week, 4 weeks of in class, like hands-on learning, and then week 5 we start clinicals. We're still going to clinicals even during this pandemic thing. So now we just like online, we doing book work, and it's hard. We can't really ask questions because there's so many people in the class. My teachers, I have 2 teachers, so they just like, we can't really get to everybody, or they don't really know how to answer the question because they're like, it's confusing online. It's just like throwing everything off. I don't like the online at all. But my class is still ending May 9th, so I'm just sticking it out and just get it done.
I guess I'll go. I don't really like online classes either. Let me start from the beginning. So if I could go back to an actual campus, I would. I was at St. Aug for like half of a semester, and then my brother got killed, so I had to come back home. And then like right after the funeral, I went back to school. So like when I went back to school, I went down a very, very like wrong path. I just started like not focusing on school, like just doing a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't have no business doing, just because that was my way of like getting through, my brother passing or whatever. And so I started doing online classes because I felt like, okay, right now I like literally was not in the mental space to even go to school. So I thought online classes would be better. Like, okay, online, I'm not around people, it's just me, I'll be able to focus. I was wrong. No. Like, I literally hate online classes. Like, I need to be in an actual classroom setting with the actual teacher that I can look at and talk to. If I have a question, I can ask the question right there. You're going to answer it right there. Because online classes, like, the teachers just, you ask them a question, they take 2 weeks to reply. It's just too much. So no, I don't like online classes, but for my schedule and what I work right now, it's what works best for me. I'm doing pretty good at it, but I would not recommend online classes at all. If you can go to school, go to school. Make sure you focus. Make sure you pay attention. If you need help, make sure you reach out to people, common ground, whatever, who you know are going to be there for you to help you in the right way. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, so I feel like I could speak to this because, I mean, I'm not taking no semester off or nothing, but like due to the pandemic, I am forced to take online classes right now. So I feel like online is better for me. Like, contrary to everything y'all just said, I like the online because, like, okay, you might not remember stuff, or I feel like it's to each his own, because I'm the type of person to write everything down. Like, in my planner, I put everything on the due dates, and then I highlight it once it's done. So, like, I'm organized enough to where I can follow along with, like, online. And I feel like it's way more convenient for me. Like, the flexibility is just better. Like, yeah, I wouldn't say don't go to college because I miss school. Like, if I could do continued housing, well, I can, but I'd rather take the 3K. So if I would, like, be able to just stay there, like everybody was there, I would prefer to be in school, like the experience, top 10. However, like, as for online classes, I'm taking 2 next semester too, just because it gives me a lot more time. And it may depend on where you go as well, because like my professors, I know my professors for my online classes, they respond so quick. Like you said, Martiana said that they'll take like 2 weeks, but this man emails us like 3 times a day. So like, I really feel like it depends on who you're taking an online class with. Like I feel like it just all depends. You have to look up the class, because I definitely make sure that I hear something about an online class before I take it. You know, just stuff like that. Like, but with these like Zoom office hours, that's so convenient to me. Like, I love the online thing because you ain't even gotta get up and go nowhere. Like, if we was in school, I was not going to office hours. But like, since I had this opportunity to just click on Zoom, like, it's just easier for me. I like the convenience. So I mean, I don't say not to do it. I just say like Candace said, know yourself and make decisions based off of yourself, like not everybody else.
I was gonna say that that was a good segue, Destiny. Just got to know your situation, really. When it comes down to it, some people are going to excel, going to schools, going to 4-year, 2-year, whatever it is, being in class, being around students. And then some people are going to excel being on their own pace, taking online classes. You may have a situation at home where you have to have a job. You may have a shorty. Jaquez, you said you got one coming. So I know we got some students that may be in that situation. So you just have to know what is best for you. And don't get caught up in the next person. It's not a competition, really. You know, you guys might have graduated high school together, but it ain't about who's going to graduate from college at the same time or this year, that year. You got to find your own path and just do what's best for you, but be smart about it too. Don't go the online route just because you think it's the easier route, because it's not the easier route. Like with COVID-19, what I've seen with CPS is that every elementary school and high school is now trying to get into this virtual learning. And you got some grown people that's been teaching for 15 years. They are struggling. And then on the flip side, you got parents and students that are struggling with it. So it's not like it's easy. You got to be dedicated. You got to be committed and focused to that hour, that 2 hour to read them sections, take that test or whatever it is. So you just, I know I'm long-winded, but saying all that, just know what's good for you and do what you got to do to get through it. So don't compare yourself to somebody else's situation. It's good to hear other people's stories, but honestly, you take that all in and you make the best decision for yourself.
Also, too, something to consider is if you do like a 2-year or an accelerated program, it's a lot of online work too. So it's probably some lecture, and then a lot of the work is expected to be done independently. So at home on the computer, so a lot of reading. So I think it really all boils down to discipline in the classroom and discipline outside of the classroom.
Yes.
You're muted, Tiffany.
I know, I just realized it. So that's everybody, right? Who wants to comment on that? Okay. So we did have a question for those who did go to campus right after, to go to a college campus right after they graduated. So one student wants to know, once you've been accepted into college, what are some of the first things you should do when you get on campus?
Get cool with the, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, baby. You sure?
You want to know all the people in the financial aid office. That's the first place you go, because at the end of the day, a lot of people leave school because they can't afford to stay. But if you're cool with the people in the financial aid office, Miss Amy or whoever, she gonna make sure she finds some scholarships for you. She gonna talk to those alumni that, you know, give money to the school, they sponsor, so on and so forth. Favoritism is a real thing. That's the first people you want to know.
Advisors, that in addition to your advisors as well. Knowing what your plan or your path, your advisors can help you with that, knowing what classes to take, and them even like giving you advice on who to speak to. I had a couple of people that had already took classes already, so I was able to get all the work from those classes and different things like that. So yeah, knowing the places on campus that are vital to you getting through college is important. All that social stuff will come later. Like, make yourself known on campus in the different departments that you know you want to be a part of. I would say that.
I would also say, go ahead.
I would piggyback off of that, knowing the departments like Candace said. Also, housing was a big department for me when I got on campus. I made myself known with the housing department so that I could become an RA. Like, that was my goal. And so sophomore year, I was an RA all the way from my sophomore year to my senior year. And I also worked there for my work study job. So I was just plugged when it came like the housing period, where I didn't pay for any housing for like the 4 years. But Candace, I was a social butterfly. And I will say that when they had the whole, like, it's not a fest, someone give me the word, when they'll basically say you'll come to like the student center and you'll get to meet all the organizations, and so when you go to college, you start to learn who you are. Like, well, hell, I'm still learning, okay, 31, I'm still learning. But at that time, you in that process where you still learning who you are. So it's good to get out there and to see, like, what do I like outside of my comfort zone, and or what am I good at that I can be a part of leadership in. So I did both of those things.
Yeah, what Amanda was just talking about was like a fair. Like, they have a fair with like a bunch of like basically all the organizations on campus. So I would just definitely say put yourself out there and be sure to network, y'all. I know we like to stay in our little community, but we don't got the resources. So if you reach out, bro, because this one girl, like, I was taking this an online class, and she sent me, like, I just to say it. She was like, "Oh, you're in that class? I got it." I'm like, she had the whole, like, everything, the activities, the quizzes, everything. Like, I didn't have to do anything after the point that she gave it to me. So just make sure you're networking, and like they said, just making sure that you know people in each of the departments and things of that nature.
But I also think it's important to get comfortable and familiar with your living space. If you're living off campus, on campus, wherever, just get comfortable there. Set it up so that when you go there, it's a good place for you to be. It's some type of peacefulness, and get familiar with your environment. For me, coming from Cincinnati, which is much smaller than Chicago, I took the time to explore my surroundings so that I wouldn't feel overwhelmed by not being familiar with the area, then overwhelmed with school, then overwhelmed with this and overwhelmed with that. So I would definitely say just take some time to explore, get familiar with your area, your surrounding, your environment, all of that.
I would definitely jump in. I didn't get the opportunity to really talk to like financial aid because I went to Robert Morris on the scholarship, but definitely get to know like your guidance counselors, get to know the lunchroom staff. That's big, especially for those who are away. Get to know surrounding organizations. I heard that as well, because those are going to be the people that when you network with them, they're going to make sure they got your back. So definitely all the essential people. You always want to get to know all the essentials that you need, because everybody don't need the same thing you need, but everything you think you might need, get to know those type of people that's surrounding.
I want to say something too. This might be a little off base than what everybody else said, but once I got down to Southern, the first thing I did was kind of walk the campus and learn like where my classes were, because man, Southern was kind of pretty big. I came from Whitney Young, so it was kind of like you go here, you go there. You know your classrooms, but you go on campus, you got to go to one building, then you might have another building 30 minutes across campus. You don't got a bike, you got to walk. So first thing I did was just kind of walk the campus, learn where my classes were. So I think that's one of the first things you should do too.
Okay. For those who all stayed in state for school, would you have done it again, or would you have gone out of state?
I'd have took off. I'd have left.
All the way.
I would have left. I would have went to Canada University if I could. I would have got away. And I think it's more so because of where I lived at in my neighborhood, my surrounding, like easily influenced. Like I got into a lot of trouble. I almost lost my life a couple of times. So I would have definitely took off. At the time, Robert Morris didn't have any campuses. There was no live on campuses. You go downtown, you go home. So I would have definitely left just because of like my neighborhood, my area I stayed in, the travel back and forth. I'd have left.
I would have did just like him. I would have left. So I was scheduled to go to Spelman, and me and my mother were at odds at the time. Got into a huge fight, and she told me that if I went to Spelman, that she was not going to help me pay for my tuition. Now, for anybody else, they probably would have been like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But at that time, though, how much Spelman cost, I was going to work my butt off, but I also needed help, and assistance. And so I stayed here. What I later found out is that my older sister went to Clark, and she got pregnant in college, lost all their money, and had to move back home. I didn't know that until probably like my junior year. And at that time, I was in all these positions on campus, so I decided to stay. But if I would have known that information, I would have known that it was her fear and not my fear, and I would have figured it out going down there and doing that. So I would have definitely left, just like Sam said. And I also wanted to go to a HBCU because I've attended PWIs my whole life, and I wanted the opportunity to learn, of course, from my people.
I don't know if I would have attended the HBCU with me playing ball. There's no major HBCUs as far as ball playing, if I can't recall. So me trying to further my career in basketball like I did, the HBCU was none of my top 10 at all.
You was supposed to start the wave, Sam.
Thanks.
I was trying. It didn't happen though.
Yeah, I would have went to a HBCU myself. I got pushed towards a PWI from my parents and my teachers. So I didn't really apply to any HBCUs. We didn't get a lot of information on HBCUs, so I was pushed to do a PWI.
I don't know if it's because I'm like we got a small Black community at Urbana, but we all together, like, not that they put us in two buildings, but everybody knew the two buildings to go to. So everybody is right by each other. So I don't really have that much of an issue. And then we still have Black frats. Like, we got alphas who throw parties all the time. So, like, I feel like I have a decent experience. And then too, I wouldn't say I would go out of state because who's like gonna keep paying for them plane tickets and all of that? I just can't. Like, it's so easy for me. I don't never have to worry about how I'm getting home. Like, when it was whatever was the past break we had, I called my auntie like the week of, like, can you just come get me and my roommate because we didn't get no train tickets. And if I had to worry about getting home, like, I just could not do that. I'm satisfied with where I'm at, so I wouldn't say I would go anywhere different.
Isaiah Freeman, you did a program called 1 Year Up, right? Or Year Up?
But yeah.
Can you explain that to us? Because that's an alternative program. Instead of just going to school, it's a like a workforce program. What does it do exactly?
Yeah, so the idea of the program is for an entire year. They basically are trying to train you to get into the workforce. So starting from anybody getting out of high school, you have to be 18 to get in the program. But what they do is for 6 months, they'll basically train you in the workforce. You'll spend half your time taking actual college courses, and the other half you'll be doing more workforce-focused work. So we did that for 6 months, and then after the 6 months, they evaluate you. They kind of know you in depth. It's really, really in depth when it comes to the interview and getting in. So they know you pretty well, and by the time you get to your internship, they put you in a place where they think you will excel the best. So the first half of that 6 months is basically training and where you'll sit well, where you'll fit best. And then the next 6 months is the placement, which is an internship at various companies. It's a nationwide program. So you have everything from Bank of America and Chase to some tech companies. We had people who were working for US Foods, who like supplies food for CPS and other various schools and things like that. So it's one of those programs where if you're having issues getting into the college, or if you find yourself getting kicked out, my current situation was, or not my current situation, but my situation was I wasn't able to pay to return to my school, and they were trying to give me more financial aid. So I had to, I basically was at a point where it was military or finding something else to do. And unlike Will and Jaquez, I cannot do military. I can't have people yelling at me. I can't do that piece. So finding Europe was a real blessing. And basically after that year, the company offered me a full-time position. And yeah, I've been working there ever since.
So had you known about that before you went off to college, do you think you would have considered that program first, or would you still have wanted to go to college?
But when leaving college, I was really ignorant to the real world. I hadn't really worked too many like real jobs and things like that, so it didn't really click with me that college wasn't an option. I probably wouldn't have picked it just because I wanted the 4-year experience. I wanted to go off and stay in dorms and get drunk. You know, I'm talking going to parties and stuff like that. But stop flexing. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. What do you mean? We all want the 4-year experience, right? So I probably wouldn't have taken that. But now, knowing what I know now, it was a great opportunity. And if you take it by the horns and really ride with it, like I know some people, I got a couple of my friends in here. I knew people in my program who got offered up to like $70K for a job at the age of 22. I'm 20, like, you know what I mean? Like if you get the opportunity and if you take advantage of it, you can really do something with it. And now, even though I'm technically a college dropout, I'm actually attending DePaul University right now. So, and I'm paying my way through school. So it's like, I went through all of that struggle and kind of the messing up of that to get put in a much better position. And I'm not guaranteeing that, oh, you join this program, your life's going to turn around and automatically everything's going to be better. But if you really take advantage of it and you play by their rules, you can turn it into something where you're cozying in, I guess.
I also did the program, and I didn't like the program personally. It was one of those things where you have to really know yourself, because for me, it was like corporate America is not for me. Like the first 6 months, they're real strict on uniform. Like it was hot outside. I wasn't trying to wear a blazer, and I had to walk in the building with certain shoes on. I got to change. So I personally didn't like it.
You can't be on your phone while you're there. Like they have a stipend that's linked up to your behavior. So it's like, oh, you come in late, you're not getting paid this, or you can get kicked out of the program. They have a point system too. So it's like really strict that 6 months. It's incredibly strict. But once you find your placement and once you understand kind of like what they're trying to get you to do, they're basically overworking you so that once you get into the workforce, it's easy. Once I got into the office and I started realizing like, oh, these people don't care that I do this. Oh, they don't care that I do that. Those 6 months was kind of like you start realizing why they put you through that in the 6 months.
Okay. Last question to Amy, who, can you explain your experience a little bit more? I know you mentioned how you haven't quite yet finished college yet, but you've been able to work your way through the workforce and be successful at that.
Yeah. So for me, it was different. When I was 16, I went to work, and I mean, I was always, even at such a young age, the person that wanted to continue to learn more and more. I started working at Target. I started as a cashier, and after a while I got bored. And so then I wanted to learn customer service, and then I wanted to learn the food court, and then I wanted to learn the sales floor, and I wanted to learn all these different departments. And I kept learning, and I stayed at Target for 9 years. My arrangement was that, I was young, I had a child, I was in a relationship, I was in love, all that stuff. And we had a plan, right? He was gonna go to school, and I helped him all through his school. And afterwards, after he graduated, I was gonna get to go to school. And so that's kind of the arrangement that we had. It just didn't work out that way. He got into some trouble and didn't end up finishing. He went to school for like 5 years, 6 years, almost a semester before he finished. And he caught a felony and didn't get a finish. And it started the separation for us. We already had 2 kids at that time. We had been married, and just the decisions that were made in that whole situation and that ordeal made me reevaluate. I felt I was doing a lot. I was working. I was trying to go to school. I was taking care of the family and cooking dinner and taking care of his responsibilities. And I was doing all these things, and just kind of got frustrated. So even after we separated, I tried to go back to school several times. I've gone to school for several different things. I've done the online classes. I've done on-campus classes. And ultimately, what I learned about myself through all of this is that I love to learn. I love to constantly be learning new things, but I'm very specific. I don't have time to learn things that I don't feel are necessary for me to learn. And that was the hard part for me to get over in college, is that there's all these other responsibilities and classes that you have to take that I don't feel like pertain to me. And so I was always the one learning on the side, taking classes that I liked, or just still to this day, learning every day, reading articles, blogs, YouTube tutorials. I'm constantly learning. I taught myself photography. I taught myself videography. I taught myself digital marketing, and I'm working in a position now where I work for a digital marketing company. It's a corporate company where we're nationwide, but I get to work remotely. And it's, even in this pandemic, I'm working with small business owners across the country, and they're all going through all of these issues. The one thing that they need is online marketing. And I always felt like the best thing to do was to follow my curiosity. Follow that thing that made me wonder, that made me want to learn, that led me down this path to where I am now. And where I'm now is in a really good position to help a lot of people, because a lot of people need, like Carl was saying, now everyone's trying to go online, they're trying to go virtual, and they don't know how to do that. They don't know what the best way of doing that is. How do I even get set up? And so I'm really grateful that I work for a company that is ahead of all of these rapid changes, that can see this stuff coming down the pipeline and say, okay, these are the things that we need to do to get in place. And then me being in a position to tell other people how to get into that same system. And that's kind of what I've been doing with Common Ground. But I really love what I do. One, I love what I do because I'm always constantly learning, not just learning what the company is feeding me, because I've learned to use jobs even. All of the different variety of jobs that I have done throughout the past 25 years, I like taking jobs that I can learn something at. I see a job as an opportunity, a learning opportunity. Like, I may not know anything about this job, but if I can get this job and it can teach me and it can train me and it can pay me to do that, then I want this job, right? And so you kind of have to look at it like that too. Like, there might be responsibilities that you have to take care of. You might have to do what you got to do, but you can use what you got to do to your advantage too. You can find things, because there's all kinds of ways to make money. You can find things that's going to play into where it is that you want to go. If down the road I want to get to this place, I know this kind of job can help teach me the skills that I need to get me to that place. So you kind of have to look at those things too. But I've done a variety of things, and it's always been me teaching myself, me wanting to learn, that curiosity, me asking that question. And then my daughter, she is grown now, and she's down in Champaign, and I tell her the same thing. You don't always know what it is that you want. I don't know, but there are things in the back of your mind that raise questions that make you curious, make you want to learn. And you have to follow those, and you have to learn to listen to those things, and just allow yourself to go down that path. It may seem tedious, it may seem like it's unnecessary, but that path is leading you you're going down that path for a reason. You're learning those things, you're curious about those things, those thoughts are arising in your head for a reason, and you just have to learn to let go and follow it. I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too long, was that college was always something that I wanted. Nobody in my family went to college. And I always thought that was something that I wanted. And I always felt like it was something that, I always felt like it was something that was taken from me. But that too was a lesson. So I'm gonna stop talking. Sorry, guys.
No,
thank you for sharing, Amy. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep going.
Thank you.
I'll take that. Yes.
Yes. I really appreciate you sharing, because you're giving a different perspective of what life as an adult can look like. It isn't always everybody goes to a 4-year college, 2-year college, online programming. Sometimes it takes a while to kind of get it together and figure it out, and life happens. And it will continue to happen. And I thank you all for being resilient and pushing through despite each individual circumstances you've had. You guys have not stopped. You've kept trying. So thank you, Amy, for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. We have passed 8 o'clock. So it was a really good conversation. But just want to wrap it up in case anybody just has any last minute, if you didn't feel like you gave some good advice, but just any last minute words, parting words before we log off.
I just want to talk about motivation. If you got your motivation, just keep it going. Because once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. That's all I got.
I was going to say the same thing.
Smart. Oh, be smart. Be smart, because every decision is costly in some way or another. So just be smart. That's it.
Definitely, I agree with Whitney. College is not for everyone. I'm actually at the point where I no longer have financial aid, because I kept leaving, going back and trying to figure out my life, what I wanted to do. And now when I actually want to do it, I've run out of money and have to pay by for myself. So definitely just think about what you want and do not let anybody make that decision for you.
The other thing I want to add to that is contrast the things that we go through in life, the situations that we come across, the circumstances that we have surrounding us. This is all teaching us. And you have to learn to embrace that contrast that surrounds you, because it's one, is teaching you who you are, and two, is teaching you what it is that you want, what it is you don't want, and what it is that you do want. And once you figure out what it is you do want, it doesn't matter. It could be college, it could be not college, it could be learning on your own, whatever it is. It's figuring out what it is that you want that really is going to create that clear path for you. I think there's so much indecisiveness. Do I want to go to school? Why do I want to go to school? Do I only want to go to school because everyone else is telling me that's what I'm supposed to be doing? But why am I going to school when I don't even know what it is I'm going to school for? You have to really look around and just learn about yourself. And you can learn about yourself in any circumstance that you're in life, in work, in college. You just got to go with what feels right, that intuition, that voice inside your head that's telling you go this way. Just go that way.
Quarantine, you can learn about yourself.
Off of what Amy was saying, that one of mine was take risks. Don't be afraid to take risks, and be resilient in that. We are a people that are survivors. You know, we are built to overcome struggle, in my opinion. So don't be afraid to take risks. As she said, if there's something that's pulling you one way, it may be uncomfortable, but be okay with being uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. Be okay with that. Take that risk and be resilient in it.
Destiny said earlier, she was talking about network at school and how it paid off for her. Anywhere you go, whatever you do, find that person in the room that you want to be like. Find that person who has that job that you want to do. Find that person who looks successful. Network, network, network. You will have so many more opportunities by getting to know as many people as possible. For any of you, Ari, you would ask the question of, is the military bad? If anyone's interested in the military, I'm part of your network now. Come, ask me. Go to Leslie, she'll give you my information. I'll send it out right here, I don't care. If you're interested in tech, I'm doing that now. Ask me. Your network is your biggest asset, and whatever you do, if it's college, if it's not college, whatever it is, find that person in the room and go start a conversation and say, what do you do? I want to learn more. Make yourself better, it'll open up doors. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you do it.
Networking get you far.
You want to go ahead?
No, you good. I just want to say networking get you far.
One thing that I was going to say too is like, make sure what Amy said, y'all are not just taking it as how she said, like follow your own mind. Yeah, follow your own mind through your path. But if you do, like, say you decide to go to school or something, be strong-minded, because like a lot of times you may end up with the people who may have different motives, not be as motivated as you, but you just got to be strong-minded and just make sure you on your stuff.
I would also say that I know sometimes we think that we make mistakes, but God doesn't. And so when you go through certain things in your life, and there are things that happen in your life, and I heard somebody say, I am a college dropper. No, you are a man of God. You are a man of valor. Like, what has happened or what you think is a mistake is a part of who God is making you to be. And so, I mean, I've had friends that, of course, had to drop out because they had children or this or that. And I'm like, there's no comparison, because your accolades or your resume looks different than mine. A lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs are smarter than me, and I have more degrees than they do. So I think it's important that all of us continue to keep faith and know that with God, you don't make mistakes, because all he's going to do is use it to take you to the same destination. It's just a different path.
Mm-hmm.
I want to follow up on that as well. I did call myself a college dropout. I'm not going to, like, you right, but I like calling myself a college dropout, because it's like, my idea is a lot of people will put labels on you, look at you and try to perceive you as certain things, just because of like your appearance or the way you talk, right? My thing is understanding that there's so much more underlying than like what people are willing to give you because of how you look. you really have to realize that you got to go out there and get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you, and we're already at a disadvantage because of the way we look. But I feel that I can attest to that. Like, I'm a 21-year-old kid who works in a bank alongside like 50-year-old white men who like live in the Gold Coast and stuff. Like, the fact that what's in my head and the fact that I work so hard to understand these things and learn and network, like they mentioned, like, that gives me a respect that I had to really go out there and get. Like, understand that I hear a lot of people who like to say, oh, because I'm Black, or because I'm this, or because I'm that, I can't do things. That is not the case. You are at a disadvantage, but there is nothing that you can't do because you're in a certain condition. You can always go out there and get it. You can it's all about your grind and all about your hustle and understanding that you want to be a certain place in a certain way. They say, oh, in your 20s, to be honest, you might not be able to do that. We don't really have the luxury to sit back and enjoy ourselves because we have to build. We might have to sacrifice that. Like, all of the time where you're just sitting down, that you're wasting, that you scrolling through social media and stuff, there's always something that you could be looking for, but that you enjoy, that you could try to build on. I know that, for instance, I like customizing shoes, right? So I'm going to do what I can so that I can save my bag so that eventually I can get to that point where that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to work for a white man or the banks or something my whole life. I'm trying to use that to get to where I want to go. You feel me? And right now I make a good income, but I'm still listening to somebody what to do. I still have somebody telling me to come into work. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I'm going to deal with that right now, and I'm going to go through that right now because I know, and I'm betting on myself, that in 5-10 years, I'll be able to sustain myself on what I want to do. So yeah, realize that, like, no matter what you want, like, it's always achievable. You just have to realize that putting in the work, you just have to be willing to put in the work, honestly. Yeah.
Just to segue to that, I would say to give yourself grace. Like, one thing I had to learn was I wanted to do everything before I made 21. By 25, I got to do this. By 30, I got to do this. And what I had to understand is nobody really has it figured out. So be okay with, well, this didn't work out for me. Like, somebody said it, I don't know who he was like, when he figured out how to make the light bulb, it was 100 ways to not make a light bulb, not the other way around. So it's about changing your perspective, but more importantly, giving yourself grace and mercy to say, like, I'm okay. I still have ambitions, and not to compare yourself to what the next person is doing. It's a marathon, not a race.
Okay, Nip.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, you know, everybody should use their resources and, you know, just create good habits. Because when I was going through school, like, it took me 3 years to go to Harold Washington, which is a 2-year program. But like, I wasn't creating good habits to follow through. I was thinking every class was gonna be easy, like high school. It wasn't. So like, one thing, like, if you do go to school, like, just create good habits and make sure that you have a place to study. You know, have a place to do your homework. Like, I used to go to the library like my last 2 semesters because I was really trying to focus and lock in. So like, you got to make sure that you locked in. You know, if you really want this, whatever you want in life, you got to make sure that you really locked in and focused on what you want to do.
And it's baby steps too. Like, let's say, for instance, you got a huge plan that you want, right? We all want to have money. We all want to be millionaires. We all gonna get there some way, somehow, right? Break it down. Like, you want to get money, like, what's the way you build, like, what's the way you get, like, what's the way you start earning income to get what you want? Once you get to that point, how do you use that income to get to the next point? And you just start using that, like, focus on your little things, whether that's like passing this class so that you can graduate college so that you can get that job you're working on, or if it's working at a crappy job right now so you can save up your money so you can do something else. There's always the problem that I see with a lot of people is they look at, oh, how am I going to get to this point? I don't know how I'm going to get to this point. But if you sit down and take the time and really think about each step, it's not as hard as you may think it is. Just take it one step at a time. You'll get there. Nobody became a millionaire overnight. Like, slow down. You'll get there. You will get there.
And can I just, one quick thing, I know it's time to go, but I do know for a fact that we have a couple of attendees on here who are thinking about other options than school. It is okay if you choose the Army or trade. I was working part-time at CTA making more than my friends who have degrees. So, and they work all day, every day, and I go to work 30 hours a week. So just make sure, again, do what you want to do. Definitely take input from others, but you definitely need to focus on yourself. It's okay to do a trade. My aunt, she used to always tell me that my uncle made more than her. He was a plumber and she was a principal. So, you know, trades are good too, and it's okay.
Here's the thing, guys. You're going to have to reinvent yourself several times over. College is just one small fraction of your life and who you are. Don't make too big of a deal about it. You don't have to figure it all out right now. You don't have to figure out, and tell my daughter this all the time. You don't, even if you do choose a major and it's what you want to do right now, no one's to say that that's going to be what you have to do for the rest of your life. This is an experience. This is a time frame in your life where you get to learn about yourself. You get to learn new things, explore, be curious, be creative, you know, follow your passion. You're basically at 18, you have freedom. You have no responsibilities. You have the freedom to choose whatever it is that you want to do, whether it be college to get you there or not. Like, there's so many different ways to get to where you want to be, but just know that even college is just temporary. And once you get out of college, you're going to feel like you've mastered it all, and you're going to start right back at the beginning again. And you're going to have to keep doing that over and over and over again in life. And you're just going to have to build and then start over again. And once you do that so many times, you build up this confidence within yourself. And you feel like, you know, I've seen all these struggles. I've done all these things. I've overcome all these different things. There's really nothing that I can't do, because that resilience is getting built up over and over again. The more you just go out there and you try, and you don't try to figure it all out, just do what feels right.
Amy said that because I'm right now in the
Your mic got muted. We didn't hear you.
Oh, I said I'm right now in the process of reinventing myself too. So yes, you are the person that you won't be the same person at 30 that you were at 20. You won't be the same person at 40 that you were at 30. And like she said, there's no playbook that's set in stone for everybody. Like, I thought I was gonna be a teacher for the rest of my life, but now I'm so interested in being an entrepreneur. You have no idea. Like, everything I'm doing is to get me to that point where I can work for self. So, and years ago, I would have never thought that I would be pursuing entrepreneurship right now. Because if you would have asked me years ago, that's not me. But as she said, I've come to have more confidence in my abilities and in my within myself, and taking more risks. You know, again, life is about that, taking risks and being confident in who you are and being okay with being uncomfortable, because I'm still uncomfortable in doing what I'm doing, but who else is going to do it for me? I have to do it. I have to find out what my potential is, and the only way I can do that is for me to do it. So yeah, life won't be totally figured out at that one point in your life. So
yeah. So what I want to say to the panelists, thank you guys for joining in and participating. To the students that are watching, just a word of encouragement. What you guys should understand in dealing with Common Ground Foundation, the main theme of this is always just be true to yourself. Know yourself, get to know yourself, because in that frame, when you're creating your masterpiece, that blank canvas, that's you. So everything you go through is just an opportunity to get through that. Get through it, get to it, and get through it. So just take these words of encouragement, take the experiences from the students that are your peers, the ones that are older than you. You don't have to make the same mistakes that we have. So you can fast forward your success 5 years before we did, right? So if anybody dropped out and went back, learn these lessons, hear from the mistakes that we made, and so that you don't have to do it yourself. Because what you can do is you can fast track your success, because you don't have to go through it. Like, it's not cool to go through something if you know the downfalls of it. If you know it, you don't have to experience it. Just sidestep it and get to your business. So I'm really appreciative of you guys listening. I'm really appreciative of everybody sharing and really just being transparent, because without our honesty, these students will be at a deficit. So I'm just encouraged about the adults and the young adults that are in here that have really stepped up over the last years. I'm looking at Isaiah and Sherelle, Martiana, all you guys. I'm Twan, I'm proud of you guys because I see the growth and I see that our words were not in vain. I see that our efforts were not in vain. So it's on you guys to take that and help this next group. Deshaun, I know he's on and off here giving me much crap on my text, but I'm proud to be a part of you guys because I see the growth and I see the potential and I see like unlimited success for you guys. You just got to stay with it and just each other and be there for each other. So
thank you, Carl. That's a good way to end it. I think that's a really positive high note. You guys share some really, really good information. If anybody who's watching has any more questions about each program or path that our panelists took, you can definitely contact me or Miss Bianca, or even in the survey that's going to go out right after this, you can put that in there. Don't forget to fill out the survey. That's how you enter into winning raffle prizes. We got gift cards, dinners, and stuff that are going out. You can feed your family one day this week if you complete the survey. But I'm going to Bianca take everybody off mute so we can say goodbye. But thank you all for joining. You gave a lot of different perspectives, and hopefully this has all helped our students, okay?
Bye. Peace.
Bye.
Love you guys. Ashton, I miss him. Antoine, tell Ashton I miss him.
Sean, what's your ID?
Hey, Leslie.
Put your name in the chat so I can put us in a good chat. Hey, Leslie.
Hey, there you go, Deshaun. There
See
you go.
y'all.
Good, brother.
You can stop recording.
It was Whitney. Tell Ashton I miss him.
All right, I got you. He not playing no game.
Hydrate.